Whether you're a startup or a seasoned contractor, balancing growth and risk can be a challenge, and I hope to share some things with you today that I've learned that can help you figure it out. You can't do 3, 2, 1 and then say something, because then I'm ready.
3, 2, 1. You good now?
Hey everybody, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast. If you haven't checked that out, would love for you to go over there and subscribe, as well as subscribe to this channel, putting out a ton of content for you to engage with. But balancing growth and risk can be somewhat unknown if you haven't actually gone through it before. So a few things to be mindful of when doing this is looking at, first, the lifetime value of the risk. And what I mean by that is, let's say you're giving somebody a discount, let's say you're doing something for free, let's say you're buying a piece of equipment. What is the lifetime return on that investment? Because whether it's a piece of equipment that's $100,000 or a gift basket that's $10, they all have a certain return on investment. So the risk has to be mitigated, where you're not just spending money on anything and everything at all times, but there's certain things that there is risk involved with. You know, obviously as I've started EC grading and gotten that up and running, we've had to spend some money. We had to get an excavator, we had to get a trailer, we had to get a truck. But I look at all those expenses, they're risky because I haven't really built up the client pipeline yet, but the return on those investments are pretty simple. If I don't have that equipment, I can't make money. But to grow, you have to be willing to spend some money. You have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone, because if you don't, and I see this happen a lot, you get stuck where you are. So if you're just starting up and let's say you don't have the capital, the first thing you should do is go find some clients, go get some cash flow. You don't need to have the full setup, the full money. You don't need all the pieces of equipment, all the t-shirts, all the business cards, everything wrapped, everything ready to go. Go into your marketplace, find some clients, then figure out what you need to deliver to those clients. Because realistically, the biggest risk I see is people taking assumptions in what they think people want and then going and hoping that they want it. The alternative route, and something I teach a lot of my clients when they're trying to do something new and grow and hire people and find new opportunities and increase their client value, go ask. Hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Hey, I'm thinking about doing that. What do you think? What would you be willing to pay for that? What would you be willing to do? How quick could you turn around on that? All these different types of things. So many people get afraid of just asking the questions. A lot of time, almost all of your risk can be mitigated by doing the research ahead of taking the action. But I warn you, don't get stagnant and stuck in the research phase. I see that happen a lot as well. They don't ask enough questions, or they can't get enough information. You as a business owner will never have enough information to make the proper decision. So when you're trying to grow and you're trying to balance risk, the first thing you need to do is look at the overall lifetime ROI, if that risk pays off, and what the ultimate worst case decision downside is. Basically create two lists. What happens if this goes really well? What happens if it doesn't? And you can look at what is the upside potential, what is the downside, and if look at the scale. How much does it outweigh it? I see this a lot, especially when growing and hiring and firing people. You have to look at yourself. Whether you're spending the money to hire them or you're getting rid of somebody, what does my business look like in 12 to 18 months if they're here? What does my business look like in 12 to 18 months if they're not here? And that goes for hiring new people as well as firing people. If you sit down and just run that exercise in your head or on paper, you will know pretty quickly whether or not it's the right decision or not. So let the details, let the data, let the research do the talking for you, because if you look at it from an emotional perspective, you're gonna struggle making inconsistent decisions, which increases your risk as you grow. So that's a few things that I've looked at, I've uncovered, I've helped people through. There's obviously a lot of variables to that. So if you have questions, please comment below with something you're struggling with, something you're trying to figure out, a risk you're trying to work through, and I'd love to engage with you and try and help you through that. But ultimately, what is the upside? What is the downside? And what does my business look like in 12 to 18 months with whether that thing happens or doesn't happen? And a lot of times, almost every time, that'll help you decide whether or not you should take the risk to grow your company. Again, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting, host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast, and I want you to win fast